Welcome back to The Narrative. I'm your storyteller, Callistra Farrier. Well, over the last few days, material began circulating on social media purporting to be related to a member of the cabinet and parliament in Grenada. Some very graphic information. That has raised questions about artificial intelligence, deep fakes, and malicious intent, and whether or not that particular body of material is authentic. And it opens a wider conversation about just how people navigate through the current situation now, where technology is constantly changing and the capabilities to do harm is increasing as much as technology is allowing us to do good and to develop as a human race. I'm being joined now by Jervis Dabrio. He is the head of CSEARCH Grenada, the cyber response team at the government of Grenada. He is considered a resident expert on such matters, and he's here to talk to me about how do we identify these fakes, how do we tell whether something is authentic or it is a fake, and how should people respond. Grenada has the Cyber Crimes Act and the Electronic Crimes Bill and Act, and that provides for penalties when people use the technology to do wrong and to break the law. And so we're going to be talking about all of this in the segment coming up. Jervis, welcome back to The Narrative.
Thank you so very much, Callistra. Thank you for having me on your program once again.
Well, you know, we're talking about this now because MP for Akaraku, Tevin Andrews' image and his name appears in some salacious content that's been making the rounds. People have been sharing it. It's been put on Facebook and so on, which in itself is a discussion we need to have during this segment about sharing these kinds of material, because that is an issue. But I want to start with, when you at CSEARCH, you must have seen it from a professional standpoint in terms of looking at the material to make a determination as to whether or not this material is in fact true or not. And this program is not necessarily about MP Tevin Andrew, but about whether or not we can look at this material and give an analysis of it. And so what I'm going to ask from you now is your professional analysis of the content that is parading around and has gone viral.
Right. So I want to start by warning the general public about sharing content, especially content that is not verified, where there may be elements in there that can be seen as defamation of character assassination, anything along those lines, right? Understanding that even if it is sent to you by somebody you trust, you still need to verify the content before you decide to post it, because it is very easy these days for digital content to be manipulated. So when the different screenshots came across my desk, I took a look at it, and it was looking at what is there and what is not there. Now, a screenshot taken from WhatsApp with somebody's name and image does not prove that the conversation really took place between whoever took the screenshot and whoever the screenshot purport to have been party to that conversation. It is possible for me to save you, for example, in my phone as Jane Smith, which means having a conversation with you on WhatsApp, if I take screenshots, the name that will show up is Jane Smith. Now, of course, I will be at the mercy of the screenshot, the profile picture that you set. But what if I set up a second account on another phone and I am using two phones to communicate between myself? In that case, I can have it set up where it says Callistra Faria. There is your likeness there, when in truth and in fact, you had nothing to do with it. So, looking at what was sent to us, there is nothing there based on just what was sent to suggest that the conversation did in fact take place between whoever took the screenshot and the name of the minister, even though his profile picture is there, because of how easy that is to manipulate. The other thing too, these screenshots can easily be adjusted, right? So it is possible for you to take screenshots, you to edit out things and so forth in there, but there was no need to really look at it through those lens, simply because again, there is nothing there that proves that the screenshots and the name of the minister, that it actually belongs to him, right? That he was party to that conversation, right? Because of what can be done by whoever took it, or whoever decide, hey, let's create some content and put it out there, right? In the screenshot that was sent to us were also images of body parts. It is possible to go online. Pornography is free online, and to grab whatever image you want and so forth and attach it and say that belongs to somebody, right? Unless there is a face to go along with it, then understand again, it doesn't prove anything. But even if it is an image where you see the full body, that will still have to be assessed. In recent years, we've had, and I'm talking we as in the international body now, the people who come together to fight misinformation, disinformation, shallow fakes, deep fakes, and so forth. We've seen reputable individuals, their image, their likeness, being used as part of deep fakes and be placed on porn sites, and they have had nothing to do with it. Now, understand this. I am not saying that what was presented in the information as presented. And when it comes to fact checking, one of the things we
Okay,
say
no, no,
is
no,
if there is any doubt,
Jervis,
you have to throw it
just a
out.
second. You sort of you broke up there for a few minutes. Of course, some editing has been done there. But can you just you were saying? Can you just repeat that, because I think we missed part of the point you were trying to make there.
Right. So I was saying in recent years, you're talking about within the last 5 years, there have been many instances where reputable persons, and you're talking celebrities and so forth, where their likeness, images, videos of them have popped up on porn sites. When in truth and in fact, they've had nothing to do with it. So even if an image shows up, and in that image, I see the likeness of Calistra Faria, and she's completely exposed, understand it does not necessarily mean that she's actually the person in there. And this is where digital forensic comes into the picture, because this is where we now would have to analyze, is this the actual person? Is it AI that is being used here? Is the video manipulated? We tear the frames apart, the video apart frame by frame, looking for little issues and
Anomalies,
so
yeah.
that may exist, anomalies that may exist in there, right? But I'm saying based on what has been shared, there are many gaps, in there, flags, red flags in there, that does not prove in any way that the content actually came from, or the conversation happened between the minister. And this is why I'm warning the public to be careful what they share, because if you're sharing that, understand you're looking at defamation of character, and whoever created that, if it is not him, again, I am not saying it is or it isn't, I'm just looking at what was presented, then understand if you take the likeness of an individual, their name and so forth, according to Section 7 of the Electronic Crimes Act, you are committing a crime. You're looking at a fine of up to $50,000, 3 years imprisonment, or both. So this is serious business.
It's also identity theft is also comes into play there as well, because
That is Section 7.
Identity,
So
yes.
that is Section 7 of the Electronic Crimes Act, right? And that is what I need for people to understand. how dangerous something like that can be when you take it, share it, and you don't know what is going on. Now, if it's a case where the that conversation did in fact happen, there is a level of privacy that is attached to that conversation. So again, somebody taking something like that and leaking it, you're looking at invasion of privacy. You're looking at another crime being committed. In Grenada, in the last 5 years, we've had several persons prosecuted, successfully so by the prosecutors, where they've taken videos and pictures of an ex, somebody they were in a relationship with, what have you, and they publish it. And of course, it has not ended pretty for them. I think the last person who was charged in excess of $50,000.
It's large amounts. I know that there was a $30,000 fine once. I have not heard of any fines below $30,000 for those kinds of crimes under the Electronic Crimes Act.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and
Yes.
even outside of using AI to do these things, because I just came back from China recently, and they're doing some amazing things with AI. You know, some of the stuff that they showed us. You're looking at people, you're looking at the images, and you have to look hard, and you know, you can determine if that's actually really the television presenter or an image created out of AI of that presenter, and they're using AI for television work and television presentation. You could hardly tell the difference. But the bad actors may decide they're going to use this for dark work. It's very easy to place someone like me, who you were saying that, who has hours and hours of footage out there, my mannerisms, my voice, my image. It's all out there and available, that someone can create a video of me doing practically anything. And without a practiced eye and a professional eye, it can fly, it can sell.
But it's not just about you doing, but it's also you saying things that you never said. Now, we had an instance here, sometime late last year, I believe, when an ad went out for a large bingo at the National Stadium. And part of the advertisement, because there were, I think, two or three different ads for it, but one of them spoke about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama being present at that event. We know at the National CSUT of at least one individual who went to the bingo hoping to actually meet Michelle Obama. Now, in a case like that, it was AI that was used to create the advertisement. Now, I had made some noise about it because unauthorized use of somebody's voice and image and so forth, these are not joke matters. These are serious, serious issues. I haven't seen anything from that outfit along those lines since then, but it goes to show that I think we don't understand how serious this thing can get, especially when you look at the legality or illegality of some of these behavior. And I think our people also need to understand that you should not believe something now just because you see it or you hear it, right? You have to go a little deeper and assess, or at least question, why am I getting this, right? What is happening here? What is missing from the equation? Who is pushing this? Why is this being pushed? Now, by all means, I'm not saying that the public does not have a right to know when the people who we entrust with certain responsibilities fall out of line. But we must, as you said earlier, we must also keep in mind that there are bad actors. There are people out there who would push content, and we may end up being a party to a crime, that, if we had just left it alone, our name wouldn't get called.
If we just left it alone. Because I was wondering whether or not this content, if it is not, and this program is not about whether or not to defend by any means anyone. We're simply looking at the content that we have all seen. It can be AI generated, but we don't even have to go that deep into the technology. You were making the point earlier. It could just be that someone sat there, changed the profile picture, changed the name, and have a conversation with themselves. So when you're investigating something like that, the language that's used is also part of what you look at to make a determination as to whether or not this proves anything as well. Because I was reading this and the language seemed a bit, there was something wrong with the language. And I like to think that language is something that I'm decent at. And I just felt like it was not flowing the way a conversation between two separate people should flow. Is that
Yeah,
something that you
so there
also
are
look
several
at?
things. There are several things we do look at. As I said, it starts with as simple as, could this have been a conversation between two WhatsApp